And with that, we say good evening. I'm Jay Crawford, joining you from home tonight.
And I'm Betsy Kling here in the WKYC studios. Both Russ and Laura are off this evening. We're going to begin tonight with nursing homes. And as of today, there are more than 1,600 confirmed cases of COVID-19 at Ohio long-term care facilities. Hours after a 3 News investigation exposed inaccuracy on the state's website that tracks cases, that page was quickly removed, and then another list was released yesterday. But that data remains riddled with errors at a time when accurate information is so very key. 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski has been leading our coverage on this story.
Natalie Corriveau is part of a growing number of Ohioans suffering through the pandemic with a loved one in a nursing home.
We haven't seen her for, I guess it's been 4 weeks now.
She understands the need to isolate her grandmother, Patricia. She doesn't understand the lack of answers from health leaders.
Honestly, just want the truth of what is the real deal.
Natalie's grandmother was diagnosed with COVID-19 over the weekend, and Natalie's been relying on 3 News to keep her informed because of the inaccuracies on the DOH website.
You were able to find at least 5 cases at the one specific facility my grandmother was at, and the state website doesn't even have any facilities in the county.
Natalie's right. While the Toledo-Lucas County Health Department reported 24 facilities with active COVID-19 cases, none were listed on the state's website until this afternoon. I took these findings to the Ohio Department of Health. For family members, they want a comprehensive picture. Why isn't the state providing that?
The reason is because we didn't have an accurate way to collect that information from the local health department.
Spokeswoman Melanie Amato admits there have been reporting discrepancies. She says prior to April 15th, counties did not have a uniform way to collect and report COVID-19 cases. Now she says they do.
And so the bugs and the kinks for the local health departments to report this information need to be worked out, and we understand that.
I continued to press her on the public's desire for more information. What about recoveries and what about deaths? That's something else that a lot of people want to see.
Recovery is a great question, and I don't think is a question we actually thought of to start to provide for nursing homes. So that is a question I will take back to the officials higher up than me to figure out if that's something we can do. For deaths, the governor announced that we will now collect that information by county level. And we will start collecting that information, and that information will show on our database starting next Wednesday.
But for thousands of families like Natalie's, these delays only cause more worry about their loved ones.
That she'll pass, and we won't be able to have any heads up, and we won't be able to do anything to be able to, give her a hug or just say I love you on the phone.
All right, now if you have a loved one in a nursing home, that website by the state is now up and running, and they did just update it today. That is available at WKYC.com. I do want to note, though, these are just current cases, not all cases, as we've been continually requesting. Rachel Polanski, 3 News.
Rachel, thank you so much for continuing on this. I know there's thousands of families who are literally every story they are getting that information, and it is so important.
Now this week, Governor Mike DeWine deployed the Ohio National Guard to help the Elkton Federal Prison near Youngstown as they are dealing with a crisis when it comes to the coronavirus. In an exclusive, 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski found out that the problem there might be worse than first reported.
Olivia Garcia struggles to get the words out.
Frustrating and difficult.
As she recounts the phone call that no child wants to receive.
At 1:30 in the morning, I got the call that he had passed Thursday at 10:47.
6 days after her father, Margarito Garcia Fragoso, tested positive for COVID-19, the 65-year-old, who was serving 10 years on drug and gun charges, died alone at a hospital somewhere near Elkton. There was no last visit, no chance to say goodbye, only silence from prison officials.
To me, it felt like they did not have a heart for it. He's still a human being. He's still my father.
I don't know what to say, for real, man.
After our exclusive reporting, 3 News received multiple emails from inmates' families and this video.
This shit is serious, bro.
A plea for help by an inmate who was willing to show his face and admit to possession of a smuggled cell phone to show conditions.
And pretty much everything that the inmate said in that video was untrue.
Joseph Maley, the president of the union that represents Elkton officers, tells me the inmates' claims are false. However, Maley still paints a tragic picture of what's taking place inside the prison, not only with inmates, but with guards.
They're angry about that because they believe that the Bureau of Prisons has kind of, disregarded them and just leave them behind, even though we're the ones on the front line.
Maley also says that as of today, 37 Elkton inmates are now hospitalized and another 71 are in isolation at the prison, all experiencing COVID-19 symptoms. And those 37 hospitalized in the community all require guards, leaving the prison woefully understaffed.
To see the state of Ohio stepping up and trying to help us, any way that they possibly can, that begs the question, why should they have to? We're the federal government. Why isn't the Bureau of Prisons doing it?
It's a question inmates' families are asking too.
Well, my biggest fear is that I'm gonna just wake up to a call one day saying that my father is dead.
Isabella Pira is the daughter of another inmate who reached out to 3 News after she found out that her father tested positive for COVID-19.
We should get an update at least once. It's been like a week.
She understands that the prison must be secretive. She's just worried about her dad, Yusuf Pira, who was sentenced to 10 years for his role in a marijuana growing operation.
I don't need to know where he is. That's fine with me. I just want to know if he's okay.
3 News asked attorney and law professor Michael Benza what, if anything, inmates and their families can do in these types of situations.
You can petition the warden for a compassionate release.
But figuring out which inmates can be released and won't be a risk to society takes time, something overwhelmed prisons don't have.
The institutions are scrambling to just react to what this situation is.
While Maley tells me that more than 100 prisoners are symptomatic, the Bureau of Prisons is telling the public that only 10 inmates have tested positive. So why the discrepancy? I asked the BOP, but I have not received a response. Rachel Polanski, 3 News.